Everyone keeps telling me that the Sony XM6s are the best headphones you can buy right now. I've had the Sonys for nearly a year after buying them on launch day last year when I was in Malaysia. And honestly, after using them side by side with the Bose QC Ultra Gen 2s, I thought this comparison was really going to be straightforward. It wasn't. Because Bose does something that Sony don't, and Sony does a few things better than Bose. And after living with both of them properly, I ended up changing my mind about what actually matters most in a pair of headphones. Let's get into it. So this isn't just going to be a spec sheet comparison. I'm trying to figure out which of these actually makes more sense in real life. Travel, commuting, working, long haul flights, watching films, taking calls, blocking out noise, transparency mode, comfort, sound quality. All the stuff that actually matters once you've spent your money. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly which one I personally would pick and who I think each pair is actually for. I thought this was going to be a much more easier decision than it ended up being, because on paper, these two are really close. Noise cancelling on the XM6s is just better. It gives me more of that proper silence when I've tested it with fans and air conditioners and buses. And more importantly, it doesn't let in as much ambient noise as these Boses do. Transparency mode is also clearly ahead on the Sonys, which is here. It sounds much more natural and lets in outside noise way more clearly. I mean, the Boses are fine as well, but Sony feel like a few generations ahead already. Mic quality is better on the XM6s. And you've got the extra features. Stuff like holding your hand over the right ear cup to hear outside is actually quite useful, and I've used it way more than I expected. Bose feels better on the head, Sony performs better in some of the areas I personally care about. Now let's talk comfort properly, because this is where Bose really earns its reputation. The Bose QC Ultra 2s just feel lovely. Can I even say that? The materials are softer, the padding feels plusher, and the weight distribution is excellent. Both of these weigh basically the same, but the Bose somehow feels lighter once it's actually sitting on your head. And the inside of the ear cups definitely feel deeper to me. So if your ears stick out a bit more, stop looking at my ears. You're just gonna hate that feeling of the driver cloth brushing up against your ears. So I think the Bose is definitely gonna suit those people better. The Bose also clamp less, and that's definitely gonna matter. I've worn the XM6s on a 12-13 hour flight before, and I've actually used them while wearing my X-Real glasses watching films. It's actually been okay, but I understand because of the clamping force, people with glasses are definitely going to feel it. The Bose just feels softer cups, softer band, less pressure overall. They genuinely feel like little clouds on your ears. So if comfort is the biggest thing for you, Bose has a very real advantage. Now, noise cancelling. This is one of the biggest reasons people buy premium headphones in the first place. And for me, this is where the Sony XM6 comes out ahead. The ANC on the XM6s is excellent. Not just good, excellent. It gives me more of that complete silence feeling. And what I really like about it is the fact that it doesn't add that annoying background white noise thing that can sometimes creep in that makes it feel a bit artificial, like sometimes the Bose does. With the Bose, it definitely lets in more ambient noise on ANC mode, even though you can adjust that level. I'm not saying that the Bose ANC is bad at all, but using them side by side, I do think the Sony is better here and noticeable. So if your number one priority is shutting out the world as much as possible, like I have to do sometimes just to get some peace, I would definitely go with Sonys. Transparency mode is another one where I think Sony wins quite comfortably. The XM6s just sound more natural. Outside sound comes through more clearly, voices sound more believable, and overall it feels closer to not wearing headphones at all. The Bose transparency mode, it's okay, it works, but next to the Sony, it doesn't sound as advanced to me. This is one of those areas where I switched back and forth so many times just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. And every time I came back to the same conclusion, Sony are definitely the ones that are better here. So if you use transparency mode a lot when you're traveling, walking around, or just working in places where you need to be able to hear what goes on around you, that's going to matter quite a bit for you. Now, sound quality is where this becomes a bit more personal. because these are actually very, very close. But again, I'm going to choose the XM6s here. Part of that is definitely the flexibility. The 10-band equaliser in the Sony app gives you so much more room to really shape the sound how you like it. So even if it doesn't sound perfect out of the box to you like it did with me, there's plenty of details to play with and tweak. With Bose, the 3-band equaliser, I'm glad it's there, but it's so much more limited. You kind of have to already like the Bose tuning and then make those small adjustments. So you don't really have that freedom. And that's the key difference for me. It's not that the Bose sounds bad, it doesn't. It's just way more locked in. Sony gives me more of that control and I definitely prefer that. Also, to my ears, the Sony sound a bit crisper. And I do think the LDAC sounds better than the aptX option from the Bose. Again, this is going to be subjective. I think both headphones are really, really close, so the little differences are going to hit people differently. But for my ears and the way that I like music, I prefer the Sonys. This is another area where Sony just feels stronger. The Sony Connect app is better than the Bose app, simply put. For me, it's less buggy, easier to deal with, and just a better overall experience. Then you've got the extra features, stuff like being able to hold your hand over the right ear cup to let ambient noise in. Simple, right? And genuinely useful. It's one of those features that you don't actually think you'll care about much, and then you start using it and you're like, oh, why don't other headphones have this? It's so simple. Sony just gives you more to play with, more features, more sound control, a better app to manage it all. And if that matters to you, and for me it definitely does, that's another point in Sony's favor. Mic quality is also better on the XM6s. I'm really sorry, Bose. Again, not by some silly dramatic amount where Bose becomes unusable, because it's not like that at all. But when you compare them side by side, Sony does the better job. Calls sound clearer to me. And for me, using them side by side, I definitely trust taking calls on the Sonys whilst I'm out and about over the Boses. That said, Bose still has these nice day-to-day convenience touches. The auto power off when you place them down is genuinely handy, and the whole Bose experience does feel very easy in a physical sense. That's why I understand the appeal, because not everyone is choosing headphones the same way, right? Some people care most about what happens once they're on your head, other people care about the actual performance. And that changes everything and is different for everyone. Now I quickly want to mention the hinges on the XM6s because I've read a lot of posts where people are still nervous about the XM6s because the XM5s just damaged Sony's reputation so much. And I understand why, because probably of the awkward folding motion when you have to put them back into the case. And obviously the XM5 hinges complaints were everywhere. So people are just going to be extra sensitive to that now. But having used the XM6s for almost a year, I personally have not had any issues with the hinges at all. Mine have been completely solid. But I can only speak from my own use and my own experiences, but from someone who's had this almost a year, they're actually pretty good. So let me make this really simple. If your priority is maximum comfort, softer materials, roomier ear cups, cooler ears over time, and less clamp, Bose is going to make a lot of sense. And honestly, for some people, that's going to be the deciding factor, especially if you wear glasses or if you just, are sensitive to clamp force and pressure. But if your priorities are stronger noise cancelling, better transparency mode, better mic quality, more features, more sound customization, a better app, and overall performance, then for me, the XM6 is the better choice. So where do I land after properly using both of these headphones? For me, the Sony XM6s are the better headphones overall. I mean, Bose still wins on comfort. They feel softer, roomier, cooler, and less clampy. And I completely understand why someone would put them on and choose them in 5 seconds. But for the way I use headphones, I care more about noise cancelling, transparency mode, sound quality features, and app experiences. And in those areas, I keep coming back to the Sonys. The funny thing is, these are actually close enough that the little differences become the big differences. So this really comes down to what matters most to you. If you want the softest, easiest, most comfortable pair to wear, Bose has a very, very real argument. If you want the stronger all-round performer, I think XM6s is the better buy. Now if you want to see a video comparing the Sony collection headphones versus the AirPods Max 2s, click on the link that comes up right now. But that kind of brings me to the end of my review. Hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it for you. If you liked the video, make sure you like, because it definitely helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe, because I have so many more videos coming. I'm Maz, and this is MazTechCentral, where I like to keep tech simple and accessible for everyone. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.